Hi, this is Joe from eattheplanet.org. Today I'm going to teach you guys about the linden tree right here behind me. Particularly, this is an American linden, Tilia cordata. That genus is Tilia, T-I-L-I-A. This tree is interesting because it's in the Malcaceae family. That family contains other common plants such as hibiscus plant and also the mallows, like the famous marshmallow plant the marshmallows come from. What makes that whole family interesting, the Malcaceae family, is that many of the plants in that family are mild tasting and also have a texture. It's called a mucilaginous texture. It kind of makes things slimy. It's a thickening agent. If you're familiar with the vegetable okra, it's also in that family. When you add okra to soups and stuff, it thickens it up. So that's referred to as a mucilaginous texture. So this linden tree behind me, this is the American linden, as I said. This has edible, mild tasting leaves, which if you're familiar with foraging, half the battle is just finding something that's mild tasting. A lot of the fruits sometimes are bitter, sometimes the leaves and things are very fibrous or tough. This is a good one, and you can eat the leaves any time of year. You can just pull a leaf off the plant and chew on it. This time of year, it's hardened off a little bit, so the leaves are a little more papery, but the taste is still mild. It's not bitter, and it's not astringent. And I'm going to show you guys how to identify the American linden, and other lindens will use the same identification features. So the first identification feature is this heart-shaped leaf. When you're dealing with deciduous trees, obviously the primary identification you're going to do is leaf identification. When you're doing leaf identification, you also want to look at the leaf margin. That's the edge of the leaf right here. This is one of the primary things you look at with deciduous leaf identification. So the margin of this leaf, the edge of it, has serrations. They're basically small teeth along the edge here. Linden tree has regular, usually regular, sometimes they're a little bit irregular, but they always have serrations along the edge of the leaf. So you have a heart-shaped leaf with serrations, but that just that in itself will not identify a linden tree fully. There's one more really important identification feature, and I'll show you over here. This time of year is the time to identify the linden tree by its fruit. So the linden tree has a leafy bract with one single seed. Well, the American linden has a single seed. The little leaf linden, which is Tilia cordata, has multiple seeds hanging from the single bract. So this bract, this leafy bract, is small for this tree. Here's another larger one, but the seed fell off of the stem there. But you can see how large these leafy bracts would be, and you've got a stem literally coming right off the center bottom of the leafy bract, and that's your identification feature for the linden tree. They also have flowers in the spring that are great for pollinators, and you can make a fermented tea out of the flowers. But this time of year is the time to identify it, because this now is in August. So this is when you can see these fruits, these unique fruits with the leafy bract and the seed hanging down below. So just to clarify again, these are in the Malcaceae family, but these do not have a particularly mucilaginous texture. It's more just that mild flavor that I was mentioning. That's also common in that family. Places you can find these are things that you can find, but oftentimes they will be planted. In parks, you will find the American linden. Open parks, a lot of times you'll find the American linden. Towns tend to plant them because they're native and they're good pollinator plants. You can also find the little leaf linden, which looks very similar, but the leaves are just a little smaller, and there's multiple berries per bract on the fruiting structure, and they tend to be compact and regular shaped, the little leaf linden. You can find those often as parking lot plantings and street plantings, but you always have to be careful if you're foraging in parking lots and streets because of pollution concerns. But nice open parks will oftentimes have the American linden. I'm in Connecticut. I don't tend to see it in the wild up here. There definitely may be wild specimens up here, but I haven't found any. If you're in a part of the country that has a lot of wild specimens, let us know in the comments. And hopefully you can find and utilize this native edible tree, the American linden.